Hello, all you freedom-loving people. As reciprocal tariffs are about to take effect on Liberation Day, gold prices hit a new high, and at a Wisconsin rally, Musk revealed how many non-citizens receive Social Security numbers. Okay, let's get into it. President Trump has not overemphasized the strength of the incoming reciprocal tariffs plan, but he has referred to April 2nd as Liberation Day for America. Even so, some reporters did not seem to know that the reciprocal tariffs will apply to all countries.
They will be kinder than those countries were to the United States of America over the decades. They ripped us off like no country's ever been ripped off in history. And we're going to be much nicer than they were to us, but it's substantial money for the country, nevertheless.
On the tariffs that you're planning, so you're expecting to hit something like 10 to 15 countries, is that right?
No.
All countries? All of the countries.
Is it across the board?
Not 10. I don't know who told you 10 or 15 countries.
We heard that. So we heard that you were going to aim for 15%.
But you didn't hear it from me.
Okay, so how many countries will be in that initial tranche?
You'd start with all countries, so let's see what happens. There are many countries involved.
On the Russia?
I haven't heard a rumor about 15 countries, 10 or 15.
So you're starting with all countries?
Well, essentially, all of the countries that we're talking about. I wouldn't be talking about all countries. It's not a cutoff.
White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt on Monday named the European Union, Japan, India, and Canada as examples of tariffs on U.S. agricultural products, implying that those entities are targets of the reciprocal tariffs. Leavitt cited the European Union's 50% tariff on U.S. dairy products, Japan's 700% tariff on U.S. rice, India's 100% tariff on U.S. agricultural products, and Canada's nearly 300% tariff on U.S. butter and cheese. Leavitt said, "This makes it virtually impossible for American products to be imported into these markets, and it has put a lot of Americans out of business and out of work over the past several decades." The Trump administration has also frequently made changes to its tariff program, and it has been known to grant last-minute waivers. So it's too early to draw any conclusions. We'll find out more details on Liberation Day when the White House says President Trump will host an event in the Rose Garden to announce the reciprocal tariffs. The Trump administration's stance on tariffs led to huge investments pouring in, but also a weeks-long sell-off in the Wall Street stock market that continued into Monday. But the risk aversion in the market pushed gold prices to new highs. On Monday, the price of gold surged to a record high above $3,100 per ounce. This also represents a dramatic increase of nearly $1,000 per ounce since mid-March of 2024. The first quarter of this year was the strongest quarter for gold since 1986. So far this year, the gold price has risen about 18%. Goldman Sachs said that in extreme cases, the price of gold may exceed $4,200 by the end of this year. But the critics say that this momentum defies any standard price positioning logic. Nitesh Shah, a commodity strategist at Wisdom Tree, says that the bull market in gold reflects concerns about tariffs. He says that gold has been supported by fears that these tariffs might dampen growth and lead to lower economic outcomes rather than the projected increases. French right-wing leader Marine Le Pen has been convicted of misappropriating EU funds. She was barred from running for office for 5 years. The three-judge panel took the rare step of immediately enforcing the ban on Le Pen, regardless of whether she appealed. The judge also sentenced Le Pen to 4 years in prison, 2 of which were suspended and 2 of which were home detention. She was also fined 100,000 euros. The French ruling is a disastrous blow to Marine Le Pen, who is leading in the presidential election polls. In an interview with French TV station TF1 on Monday night, Le Pen denounced the decision as a political one, deliberately preventing her from running for president in 2027. She stated that she will never quit politics, and she plans to fight for her right to run for president. Le Pen insisted that she is likely to run in the 2027 presidential election. She said, "I will pursue any legal avenue I can. There is a path. Of course, it's narrow, but it exists." She urged the justice system to hear her appeal as soon as possible. In France, appeals take months or even years. According to Stephanie Sergo, who is an international correspondent for the Danish media DR, the question of whether a court of law is needed to decide on her eligibility for the presidency is hotly debated in France. The Marine Le Pen verdict has not only sparked outrage and indignation in France, it has also caused a major shock in the rest of the world and in high-level European politics. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, among others, showed his support for her with a very simple message on X. He posted, "I am Marine" in French. It is a veiled reference to the "I'm Charlie" tribute slogan that caused a sensation when the French satirical magazine Charlie Weekly was attacked by terrorists a decade ago. The Kremlin also reacted to Le Pen's ruling, calling it a violation of democratic norms. Elon Musk also weighed in. He wrote, "When the radical left can't win via democratic vote, they abuse the legal system to jail their opponents. This is their standard playbook throughout the world." And isn't this similar to what just happened in Romania earlier this year? President Trump also made a similar point.
Mr. President, Marine Le Pen, the far-right leader, got convicted in court and is now banned from running for office for 5 years. Do you have a comment?
That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. I know all about it, and a lot of people thought she wasn't going to be convicted of anything, and I don't know if it means conviction, but she was banned for running for 5 years, and she's the leading candidate. That sounds like this country. That sounds very much like this country.
Wisconsin has a state Supreme Court election today. It's also a key position that is being contested by both conservatives and radicals. Under the separation of powers in the United States, the Trump administration's unconventional maneuvers have often been challenged by the opposition. This is where the choice of judges becomes even more important. So on Sunday, Elon Musk traveled to a town hall meeting in Wisconsin to encourage conservatives to vote. In addition to handing out a $1 million raffle check to 2 voters, he showed a graph in his speech of the spike in non-citizen applications for Social Security numbers. Musk said, "We found 20 million dead people marked as alive in the Social Security system. That's crazy." Musk asked his colleague, Antonio Garcia, to come on stage and present what they found.
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff that we're working on. You've heard some of that already. But this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, just this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident.
Both Musk and Garcia emphasized that there was no political motivation behind their conclusions.
And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. This country's been great to us. My brother and sister all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed us in this direction. I want to honor them right now, that work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on. Yeah. So I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from D.C. to Social Security offices to the border to track this down, and very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
The bottom line is that some of these illegals voted in the last election.
And Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system from Social Security to all of the benefit programs have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people, and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through on every benefit program we went through, we found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people, in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why. Right. And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote in this population, yes.
And who did vote?
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote. And we have referred them to prosecution at the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
And Garcia revealed We've referred them to prosecution at Homeland Security investigations. That's happening right now, and Musk believes that someone has already been arrested for illegal voting. Elon Musk is a special government employee, meaning that he can only work 130 days in his current position. That means that he will step down at the end of May at the earliest. When asked if he wanted Elon Musk to stay on, President Trump hinted on Monday that his close ally Elon Musk may have to go back to running his company full-time. President Trump said, "I think he's amazing, but I also think he's got a big company to run, and so at some point he's going to go back. He wants to. I'd keep him as long as I could keep him. At some point, Elon's going to go back to his company." President Trump also said that it's terrible how Musk has been treated in the public sphere. As of April 1st, Doge estimates that it has saved U.S. taxpayers $140 billion through layoffs, asset sales, contract cancellations, and other measures. Doge, and Musk in particular, won applause from President Trump in large crowds, but he has also become a thorn in some people's side for cutting the cost of government operations. Not only did Tesla's stock plummet, but its vehicles were damaged by arson, and Tesla owners are continuously harassed. But the White House and President Trump are backing Elon Musk and Tesla. President Trump said on Monday, "A lot of people are buying Teslas, I think, and I hope they are." The president was also asked what would happen to Doge once Musk leaves the White House. President Trump said that his cabinet secretaries have learned a lot from the Doge team. Many of the people who work with Doge are ministers and heads of various agencies. They have gotten a big education from the experience. President Trump said they've learned a lot and they're dealing with the Doge people. I think some of them may try to keep the Doge people with them, but at a certain point it will end. There will be a point at which the secretaries will be able to do this work. On Sunday, President Trump threatened that if Iran does not sign a nuclear deal, then he may consider bombing Iran and imposing secondary tariffs on the country. This could happen if Iran fails to reach an agreement with Washington on the nuclear program. During a phone interview with NBC News, President Trump said, "If they don't make a deal, there will be bombing, and it will be bombing the likes they have never seen before." Earlier in the day, the president of Iran, Masoud Pezeshkian, said that Iran rejects direct negotiations with the United States, but he added that indirect talks can continue. And on Monday, the supreme leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei, vowed that the United States would face retaliation if it bombs Iran. Ali Khamenei said that the enmity from the U.S. and Israel has always been there. They threaten to attack us, which we don't think is probable. But if they commit any mischief, they will surely receive a strong reciprocal blow. On the same day, Ali Larijani, who is a veteran nuclear negotiator and advisor to the supreme leader, said that an attack threatened by President Trump would push Iran toward nuclear weapons to ensure its defense. Ali Larijani said, "If you make a mistake on the nuclear issue, we will force Iran to move toward nuclear weapons because it must defend itself." And today, the presiding board member of the Iranian parliament also has publicly advocated for Iran to develop and test an atomic bomb. He argued that it would bring security to the nation similar to that of North Korea. Ahmed Naderi, who is a representative for Iran, posted on X saying, "Observing the behavior and words of Trump during his first presidential term with North Korea shows that having an atomic bomb has brought security for Korea." These threats from Iran come while the Houthis in Yemen announced on Sunday that they targeted the Ben Gurion airport in Israel with an Iranian missile. But the military of Israel denied that the missile reached the territory. They said that the missile was intercepted before impact. Shortly after the Israel Defense Forces made the announcement, former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett said that Israel should respond to Houthi attacks by targeting Iran directly. Bennett argued that Iran finances and controls the Yemeni Houthi group. President Trump recently warned that Iran would bear the brunt of any Houthi attacks. President Trump wrote on True Social, Every shot fired by the Houthis will be looked upon from this point forward as being a shot fired from the weapons and leadership of Iran, and Iran will be held responsible and suffer the consequences, and those consequences will be dire. And today, the Deputy Foreign Minister of Russia, Sergei Ryabkov, also warned that strikes against Iran's nuclear infrastructure would have catastrophic consequences for the broader region. Ryabkov, in a magazine interview quoted by Russian state media, condemned what he called Trump's ultimatums for Iran. Ryabkov said, "Threats are indeed being heard, ultimatums are also being heard." So Ryabkov suggests negotiating further. He added, "There's still time and the train has not left the station yet. We must intensify efforts to reach a reasonable agreement. Russia is ready to offer its services to Washington and Tehran and all parties interested in resolving this issue." Today, China also expressed concerns from Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Guo Jinkun. Jinkun said that the Iranian nuclear issue should be resolved through diplomatic means. He also said the U.S. needs to show political sincerity and resume talks as soon as possible. Slapping sanctions and pressuring and threatening with the use of force will lead nowhere. And that's a wrap for this episode. Thank you so much for your support of Front Page. Please remember that every like, comment, and share helps more people to see the truth. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you have already subscribed, we thank you. But please double check to make sure that you're still subscribed, because some of our audience have reported that they're somehow unsubscribed without their knowledge. We've also heard that many of you don't get notifications of our videos anymore on YouTube. So when you do subscribe on YouTube, please make sure to tap the notification bell as well. Okay, this is our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard today, please don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends and family, because everybody deserves to know the truth.